Now those storks, they can get up to 5 feet tall and have a wingspan over 9 feet wide.
Oh, wow.
But on both sides of the truck here, there's some bongos. Now both male and female bongos, they have those horns on top of their heads, and they're angled backwards to help them move through that brush really easily. Now both the bongos and the okapi, they are known as the ghosts of the forest. And that's because they can move through so quietly and undetected.
Oh, they're so big, so warm.
But you can see they have thin white stripes on their fur, and it helps them with camouflage. When they stand in the brush, it mimics the sun shining through the trees. But if you look even further back to the left back there, there's a rhino. All the way back there. That's a black rhinoceros. Now the black rhinos, they are one of the smaller species of rhino, but they can still get over 3,000 pounds.
I'm so excited. They're like dinner time. Oh.
Now on the right over here, these wild tan antelopes are the greater kudu. And those ones are females. Males will get long spiral horns on top of their heads. Now with the forest behind us, we're headed into the Safi River Flats. Here in the river, these animals love the water. It's a great source of food and protection. But water, it is the source of all life. We need it, the animals need it, plants and bugs need it too. So when we go that extra step to take care of our rivers, lakes, and oceans, it helps out the entire planet. But look over to your left here, friends. There's some hippos. The Nile hippopotamus.
In the water.
Now they do spend the majority of their day under the water, holding their breath for up to 8 minutes at a time. Now what that hippo is doing there, when their face is halfway out of the water, that's called spying. They think we can't see them. They're spying on us. But those large white birds on the island there, those are pink-backed pelicans. And they're called that because the skin on their backs turns a blush pink during mating season. Now also on the left there, it looks like there's some little ducklings. Donald would be so proud.
You got a chance in Hunter moments.
Ah, but down on the left, there's some carnivores, some Nile crocodiles. Now, because it's not quite their dinner time, we ask that you remain fully seated as we head over the bridge. Now, when fully grown, Nile crocodiles, they're anywhere from 10 to 15 feet long. So some of the biggest are even over 18 feet long. And crocodiles, they are different from alligators. Not only do they get a lot bigger, but they have a different shaped snout. And their teeth, they also stick out on the bottom, so they have a more toothy grin. Ah, but friends, it does look like we're getting close to the savannah. Now the savannah, it's home to lots of fan favorite animals, but I always like to point out the animal's favorite plant. And it's this tree on the right. That's a baobab tree, also known as the Tree of Life. And you saw a really big one when you first came into the park today. But it's called the Tree of Life because it holds and absorbs water really well. So during those drought months, the animals can come to it to get that water out. That's That's why they love it so much, especially elephants. They'll use their tusks to puncture the tree bark. It's kind of like what we do with a juice box and a straw. If you look to your right, friends, looks like there's some animals migrating around.
You see the giraffes?
Those are Maasai giraffes. But we'll keep moving around here. We'll get a better look. It looks like there's a giraffic jam up ahead. So we'll see them too. Now on the reserve, they are Maasai giraffes, named after the Maasai tribe in Africa. And they're different from other giraffes. Their spots are a little more rough and rugged around the edges, and those spots go all the way down to their feet. Other giraffes, their spots will stop a little bit further than halfway down their leg.
I think they got away from them.
But the savanna, it is one of the most wild biomes on Earth. Lots of different animals, plants, and bugs. But the savannas in Africa, they are a protected land, so they're one of the only remaining places on the planet that's still untouched by humans.
They're traveling.
Oh my goodness.
Now it looks like that giraffe there is following around the warden. That's what that green chuck was. The wardens, they help take care of the animals and protect them to ensure that the animals live long, happy, and healthy lives. But when fully grown, Maasai giraffes, they can get over 20 feet tall.
That one's running.
And when first born, they're 6
Is
feet
that a
tall.
giraffe?
But because they are so tall, a herd of giraffes is called a tower. It looks like the trucks are starting to move up ahead.
She wouldn't be if she didn't come out of me.
But keep your eyes peeled over to the left, friends. Inside that rock den, there's an animal laying down, and there's another one walking behind it. So we'll pull up and get a better view, but those are hyenas. Now, hyenas, they are nocturnal. They're more active at night. It looks like one of them has woken up for the day, but the other one is not quite ready to wake up. Bit of a late sleeper. But hyenas, they also operate in a matriarchy, which means the ladies run the show. Hey-o. Now, also on the left there, further back behind the bushes, those are sable antelopes. Sables, they'll use those tall horns on top of their heads to protect themselves. But it looks like there's another giraffe just up ahead of us here.
Adrian, look.
Look over here.
Now giraffes, they do have what kind of look like horns on top of their heads, but those are called ossicones, and they're made of cartilage, just like our ears.
Squirrel. Squirrel, there's the squirrel.
Now, some people, they don't know this about giraffes, but they actually don't sleep that much. They sleep up to 30 minutes, taking micro naps throughout the day. And in the savannas in Africa, they'll normally sleep standing up. That's for their safety. They're a little bit too vulnerable with those long legs and long necks if they lay down, because it takes a lot of effort to get up and down. Now, sometimes they'll even sleep with their eyes open. So if you ever see a giraffe just standing there staring off into the distance, it's most likely taking a power nap.
Which I need one right now.
Can you do it with jazz?
But it looks like there's lots of animals just up ahead in the savannah here. Now they're all over on the right there. Standing in the tall grass, those are elands, the largest of the antelopes. And there's also the smallest of the antelopes, the springbok. And then with those massive horns, those are Ankole cattle. And then those gray animals there, those are wildebeest. So it's pretty amazing how the savannas in Africa, all these animals, they can live together in harmony. But wildebeest, they do have the largest of migrating herds. Their herds can get over 1.5 million wildebeest.
I don't know. She likes to.
It looks like there's more wildebeest just up here on the right. Wildebeest, they're also known as the new, GNU. And that's because it kind of sounds like they say it. They go, new, new. But it's pretty rare to hear that. So if you do, consider yourself super lucky.
Ow, stop hitting me. No.
But the savannah, it is home to animals of all different shapes and sizes. But up ahead on the right, I see the largest land animal. The African bush elephant. Now that one's one of the males, the bulls on the reserve.
Did she do it?
The bull elephants, they do like to hang out alone, but they can form smaller groups called bachelor herds. But it's the females that like to stay together in larger family herds, and that's to protect their young. So hopefully we'll get a good look at the female herd up ahead too. But like I mentioned, elephants, they are the largest land animal. When fully grown, they're anywhere from 10,000 to 14,000 pounds. That's huge.
Oh.
But even though they are so big, it's pretty interesting that they're afraid of something really small. Elephants are afraid of bees. Yeah, that little bug. And they actually found that out because a few years back, farmers in Africa were having a tough time keeping the elephants out of the fields. During migrating season, they would come through and just destroy the crops. But they didn't mean to. Obviously, elephants don't realize how big they are, but it still caused some sad negative encounters. But Disney, they heard about this, and they were determined to help out. So, the animal programs team, they started studying the elephants on this reserve, kind of like that big guy we saw back there. And while studying them, they noticed that they wouldn't go anywhere near beehives. With those large ears of theirs, they could hear the bees buzzing around and would steer clear. So, as a last-ditch effort to help save the elephants in Africa, they took that information and created a beehive fencing for the farmers to put up around the fields. And it worked. The next time migrating season came around and the elephants came to town, they heard the bees and walked around, which was great because it stopped those negative encounters, and as a bonus, the village got honey from the beehives. And now today, it's a super popular conservation effort called the Elephants and Bees Project. Now that Elephants and Bees Project, it is still up and running. They'll donate that beehive fencing to farmers in Africa, India, Thailand, all the places that elephants are. But it looks like up ahead of us here, there's a few watering holes, so I hope everyone can swim.
I don't know.
I'm just kidding, it's really shallow. But up ahead in this watering hole here on the left, there's some flamingos. And look really close, because there's also some chicks, some babies.
They're ugly babies. He's trying to be karate kid back Watch out. What's And Hannah's holding like this little thing. She's been holding this the whole time.
Now friends, as we're deeper here in the African bush, hopefully we'll see some more animals. But keep your eyes peeled towards those tree lines.
And they wait like this.
Now a lot of those big predators like to hang out in those shady areas and tree lines. And I think I see a few just up ahead here. So keep your eyes peeled over to the left, friends.
Oh my god.
There's some cheetahs.
Scary.
Shut the front door.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Now cheetahs, they can run over 70 miles per hour in less than 3 seconds. Part of the reason they can run that fast is because they do not have retractable claws. Their claws are always out. So they dig into the ground while they run, and it helps propel them forward. It's kind of like how we have cleats for sports. Now, it's also pretty interesting that cheetahs are not considered one of the large cats. And that's because they don't roar. They chirp and purr like a bird. The other large cats, they roar really loud. Kind of like this large cat up here. Oh my god. So on your left over here, there's a lion.
Oh my
But we don't want to wake him up there. It looks like one of the females is just on the other side of him. Now a lion's roar, it can be heard anywhere from 3 to 5 miles away. But the word Simba in Swahili means lion. And speaking of Simba, that male there is actually the model for Simba in the newest Lion King. But also on the left there on the ridge, that's a Bon Tabak. But don't worry, friends, the lions can't get to him. And just in front of the truck here, there's the largest of the birds. She's gonna come up. Let's see which way she decides to go. She's gonna be on your left over here.
Adrian, look.
Now that is a female ostrich. A good way to tell is by her gray feathers. Males will have black feathers.
Adrian, look at the lion.
Esa es la leona. Ay, mamá.
Now it also looks like there's a water buck up ahead here on the ledge too on the left.
Oh, it's so cute.